But that's just me. I don't know. I'm sure most people would find that really annoying. Hello out there to all of you seekers of plastic camaraderie, and welcome to my channel where I sit and talk about dolls. Sometimes it's Barbie, sometimes it's Illy, sometimes it's Monster High, sometimes it's a Disney princess. You get the point. My name is Daniel, and I am the Barbie Book Boy. Y'all, she's here. And I'm so excited I could just, well, scream. Because the launch of this doll was a bit of a disaster. And people online have been dragging Mattel through the mud for their transgressions. Of course, I'm talking about none other than the Monster High Skullector Scarah Screams doll, the Fang Club exclusive banshee of Monster High. Now, banshees are female spirits in Irish folklore whose screaming warns of an impending death. Sort of like a tornado alarm, but for human expiration dates. Anyway, her drop practically broke the internet and sent doll fans just flipping tables and smashing plates and pounding their chests. So we've got to liberate her from her cardboard shackles and start celebrating because it's been an ordeal. First, we shall observe the object of her entrapment, which pays homage to the Emerald Isle with all things green. It's nice and glossy, and it's got this adorable mix of these screaming mouths and this very common Celtic symbol called a triskele, which I actually happen to have tattooed on my foot. The triskele is significant in Celtic culture where things like life, death, rebirth, mind, body, spirit, and the triple goddess of Maiden Mother Crone. It also symbolizes natural triads like earth, water, and sky, waxing, full, and waning moon. All things triple, you get the picture. And they've incorporated like sound waves all around the box, including around the vintage style font of her name. You can see the little sound waves here to the side. You'd think all of these sound waves would have like shattered her window by now. Some banshee you are. Anyway, I really love the back of this box. Isn't this imagery just so freaky? It's got this close-up here of her beautiful blank stare behind this curtain of sound waves going round and round. And then we get this full body shot of her just like floating by. She's probably just on her way to work. She's got some impending death announcement deadlines to meet, or she's not going to make her quota. Interestingly, in the photo, her shoes are coming off as kind of dark, like black in color. The photographer and the artist must have just been having fun with color and lighting. I don't know. Can you see what I'm looking at? Also at the bottom of this box is a cute little descriptor, which I'm not going to read, but if you would like to read it, go ahead and just pause it now and take the time and blah, 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 blah. I will say, however, that the mention of the Celtic Festival of Imbolc is such a fantastic detail. And with Imbolc being on February 1st, it's just around the corner. So her release is perfectly timed. Also, I just wanted to point out real quick, you can see more of that triskele symbol here in the little skullettes that are kind of just everywhere all over the back of the box. There's one there. Okay, now it's time to bust this banshee babe loose and see what she knows. Okay, so let's just get the junk out of the way. Certificate of authenticity, basic Monster High saddle stand with a basic Monster High base, Okay, and now for the main event. Here she is in all her ghoulish glory. And isn't she gorgeous? So her face has this amazing dramatic effect due to that incredibly unnerving blank stare that just makes you want to cower from her in fear, lest she start screaming her death call in your face. But don't you just love those dramatic eyelashes and her beautiful dark green lip color? She might be a bearer of bad news, but that doesn't mean she can't do it with a fabulous banshee beat. And her commitment to these super blunt bangs just absolutely must be commended. Because even though she's floating around screaming at people, she's doing it without a single hair out of place. And honestly, respect. Is it just me, or is there a whiff of Zooey Deschanel about her? Anyway, she's got this beautiful shroud to help keep her hair in place as she like flies around delivering her message of doom. It features a scene from her home forest. It's got like trees all over it. And it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's got some like little woodland friends See, it looks like there's a squirrel here, I think, and down here, I think that might be a squirrel. And then there's birds in the trees. So it's this whole Irish forest woodland scene that helps to keep her from being homesick when she's flying around screaming at people. Also, the shroud has this beautiful, dainty lace detail just all around the edge of it. And the banshee skull in her headband is such a cute little touch. So for the most part, the shroud has done a pretty good job of protecting her hair, but it still managed to get a little windblown, but it's not terrible. It's workable, it's manageable, it's nice and soft. I guess a little bit of messy hair is to be expected, depending on how much flying around and screaming at people she's been doing. And speaking of scream, her earrings are a scream. Literally. You can see that they're a depiction of a screaming banshee face surrounded by vapors. And there's just something so deliciously sinister about that. I mean, that she would use a death scream as like a fashion accessory only highlights her commitment to her work. She's a real career girl. Also, you can see she's got this pretty green choker around her neck. If I flip it around, you can see that it's just Velcroed in place. You would think a choker would be a hindrance to someone whose job it is to just scream at us all day. But we have to trust that she's a professional and she knows what she's doing. Moving on. Scarah is rocking a green velvet mini mod dress with these sheer bell sleeves and an embroidered nod to her Irish heritage. So in the embroidery, we have more of those screaming mouths that lead down to a skullette on each side of her dress here. And what I assume is supposed to be the Trinity knot here, but you can see here, like at the bottom of it, it's got these two extra loops that I'm not sure of here. I don't know, maybe that's just part of the pattern and not like meant to be part of the actual symbol. Anyway, at the bottom of her dress, she's got these spooky kind of expressive eyes. And I imagine she included these in her embroidery because she doesn't actually have irises of her own to glare at us with. So my theory is that she added them to her dress to make a point. And then beyond the spooky eyes, she paired the dress with these sheer green tights, which if you think about it was a smart move because you don't want everyone down below seeing all your business when you're flying around in a mini dress and just screaming into the void. And finally, we are down to her shoes, which if you know Monster High, they can't help themselves. They had to go and fiddle with them. So Scarah's got these adorable platform shoes. You can see on the top, there's like another one of those banshee skulls that kind of matches the one that's in her headband. And then the platform itself is made out of more of the vapors. And you can see it's got more like screaming faces in it. These like screaming banshee faces. So once again, Scarah has doubled down on using screaming banshee faces as a fashion statement. But the other cool thing they did with these shoes, which is actually a Monster High first, is that they made the heel of her shoe removable so she can wear these cute little flats if she wants to, which is just so practical for a girl on the go. Get in, loser, we're going screaming. Personally, I absolutely love this doll. I think they nailed it. I think her design and styling are absolute perfection. I have seen a few opinions online that were kind of interesting. I saw one person say that as an Irish girl, they should have made her a redhead. And I get it, but I don't think that's necessary. I think black hair is perfectly appropriate for a busy little banshee such as herself. And there's plenty of Irish representation here, so red hair might have been a little bit of overkill, which she would actually probably find pretty exciting because of all the screaming it would afford her. But one thing I will say is kind of a missed opportunity for me. I wish they would have given her like one of those old-fashioned pull strings that would have just like launched her into screaming her face off. But that's just me. I don't know. I'm sure most people would find that really annoying. Besides, a feature like that probably would have exponentiated her price point beyond affordability, at least for me. So I accept her for who she is, a screamless banshee with impeccable style. So there you have it, my thoughts on the new Monster High Skullector Scarah Screams doll. A lovely lady of laboring loudness, a groovy gal with a mod sense of mortality, a screaming queen of unquestionable quality. Thank you so much for watching. I usually do these doll reviews weekly, but today was a special occasion because I was so excited when she arrived. But if this is your thing, then stay tuned for more doll reviews. Also, if you're into books, be sure to check out my videos on book reviews. I am, after all, the Barbie book boy. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment for Scarah. Give her your best Irish blessing. Compliment her on her Celtic cacophony of death. Do screams have accents? Like, can you tell if someone's scream is from Transylvania versus New Jersey?